Hello and welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Peggy Romero, and as always, I thank you so much for joining me today. Finally, it's Saturday. So this week we've been talking about ramifications. And you know, we can say many things. You reap what you sow, you get, what goes around comes around. People say, well, what else did you expect? Look at what you did. Look at what you said. Look at what you've done. And all of it's true. Ramifications of our behavior are absolutely everywhere. Some are good, some are bad. Ramifications are usually like a consequence, so, they tend to be bad. But where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us exactly where we are right now. You didn't get here by accident. You're the master of creating your own reality. You've been doing it all along, just like the rest of us. So you have been creating the life that you're living right this moment. So you have to accept the good with the bad, period. You chose this for yourself with your thoughts. So knowing that you're creating your reality, are you willing to let go of your past? Knowing that you're in charge will help you if you can begin focusing on what you really want. Knowing about the red zone and green zone, and knowing that every single thought that you have is either based in love and fear, does that help you? I mean, are you making sure that you're actually the one who's thinking what you're thinking? Sorry, I know that sounded crazy. So if you're intentionally creating the life of your dreams, then you're not creating this reality that feels similar to hell on earth. We've all been through that. So you have to be willing to let go of the programs of your past if you're going to move forward. So letting go of the programming of who they taught you to be, letting go of the lack mentality, letting go of the fear and the regret. And I'm talking about letting it go for once and for all. So this is how that you would be able to change your current reality and begin to live the life of your dreams. I know it seems hard to believe, but believe me, I hope that you can feel it because it's true. And you got to try it for yourself. What you think you create, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you become. I remember I used to think that was kind of crazy, but it's true. It really is. So what are you manifesting for yourself? What are you creating with your thoughts? And how do you like it? What's the outcome? So just so we're clear, your thoughts that are going to be realized have to be realized in all 5 life categories. There's no other way around it. You need to be balanced. So career, finance, health, relationships, and personal development. But today we're going to focus on finance. But first, I think just for a second, I want to talk about the opposite of ramification, which to me I don't think that this is, technical. I didn't find this in the dictionary or Google or anything, but inspiration feels the difference. So inspiration leads you to positivity, so you don't have to suffer the negative consequence or ramification. So on the podcast every day, Bill's always talking about staying inspired. So David and I have both picked that up, and we say it at the end of our shows, just like Mark used to when he has done shows, and the guest hosts say it too. We always close our podcast like that. So staying inspired, I can tell you, hearing that thousands of times now, I really have been inspired. And I hope that I can inspire you too. I'm telling you, Bill does inspire me. His teachings inspire me. The life that I live now, since I've been doing the 7 steps of stress mastery, this life that I have inspires me to do more. And what I have gained by following this podcast inspires me every day, more than I could ever tell you. Honest and truly, I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that this inspiration that I've received has literally saved my life. This inspiration has given me the courage to follow a path that I've always wanted to follow, but never dared to. I was always too scared to dream this big and to allow myself to believe that I actually could do it. Okay, so that was inspiration. So going back to ramifications, which I would be suffering right now had I not followed the inspiration. You reap what you sow. If you put nothing in, you get nothing out. There's nothing in return. That's just the way it works. And fear will constantly stop us in our tracks. So fearful thoughts are a killer. Fear causes us to procrastinate. Fear might be able to get your attention enough to make a small move, but fear will never be the energy that's going to create lasting change. But we can use fear to rise us up into courage. We can definitely use fear momentarily to motivate us to change, but it's only for a moment. So we have to take advantage of it because the fear energy, it's not really our friend in the long run. So I've been working on my goals for 2023, and I've been helping other people work on theirs. And I see so many people living paycheck to paycheck. It's scary. People carrying debt, barely making ends meet, people getting loans that they can barely afford to pay back because they can barely afford what they have. They're out buying new cars that they can scarcely afford. I mean, they can't even afford another payment, and they're out getting a new car. Sometimes getting another bill consolidation loan to pay for credit cards, only to go out and charge up some more stuff. Well, I'm thinking about retirement these days, and I don't know how old you are, but at any age, retirement matters, so you should be thinking about it too. And hopefully you're going to make it there, right? So getting out of debt, living a debt-free life, it's heavenly. Making your way out of debt, I believe, might be the most peaceful way to live. And then you can face retirement without fear, living within your means, without charging stuff and not paying interest. It feels absolutely fantastic. So we see way too many ads that push us into mimetic desire. They make us want things that we don't even want. We go out and buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people that sometimes we don't even like. I know, we're totally crazy. But taking charge of that can change your life. It can make your marriage happier because it's less stressful. It can change the life of your children and your grandchildren. You have this one life to leave a legacy behind, and we can leave things better than we found them. Not just money, but other things too, but I'm just talking about money right now. So chances are that you're not going to win the lottery or inherit $1 million from your great Aunt Tilly. So in order to do this, you're going to have to be responsible for yourself. So why not take this opportunity to take finance and money off your wish list and turn it into your reality? When it comes to finance, just like anything else, dream big. What do you want? And I mean, what do you really want? I'm not talking about wishful dreams that are here today and gone tomorrow. Not usually talking about depreciating assets. I'm talking about what you really want. I'm asking you to conjure up the desires of your heart, because those are the dreams that you can really connect to. Remember, wishing and dreaming is serious business. Flesh out the wants, all of them, and then find the why. There's a why behind each one of them, but they're going to have to be connected to your purpose if they're going to make the cut. So don't forget that part. You'll need to change the want to a desire, a deep felt in your heart desire. That will create the intention connected to the reason behind it. I hope you're following me, because then you can take that intention and turn it into a goal. But still, you got to have a plan. A dream without a plan is really just still a big fat wish. Goals without a plan is nothing more than a want. So come on, we all have real dreams that deserve a real plan. So when it comes to finance, we have to make a choice, and we have to make decisions all the time. What are we going to spend our money on? In order to do this, we have to change our behaviors, because how bad do you want it? So we were taught as kids to go to school and do well, go to college and get a good job. Then you'll be promoted and you'll get a raise, get another promotion in a couple of years, get another raise. It used to be that if you were loyal for 20 to 30 years, they would take care of you in your retirement. Well, none of that's true anymore. We have to be more disciplined these days. We have to save for ourselves. And most of us were never taught how to do it. So what the heck? So just going to work is not going to lead us to a happy and healthy retirement. It's just not. We have to be diligent. We have to save for ourselves. And we have to be serious when it comes to setting these kinds of goals. We have to do this correctly. And if we're going to stay inspired over time, they have to be done right. Because things don't always go exactly as planned. Well, let's face it, they never go exactly as planned. So if you're going to set your intention and know your why, then deep down, and only then, will you have the volition to follow through. You'll be able to keep the dream alive by working the plan. So we have to have clear focus and a vision of the life that we truly desire, because we have to live in neutrality and be flexible. So we can't follow the ABCs, because unless money starts growing on trees, which we all know it won't, we have to have a solid plan, but we also have to be adaptable, because the changes will surely come. So I love checklists and habits because these help me stay on course, but you also have to be flexible, and you'll have to find what works for you. And so if you aren't working it, then you're probably just wishing for it. Think seriously about what you want. What is it that will give your life purpose? What is it that will allow you each day to wake up with a big, broad smile on your face? Got it in your mind? Can you feel it in your heart? I love to feel my heart's desire. I can feel it until it overflows. I can smile and feel warmth just thinking about it. Oh, how I love that. I love to feel the connection through and through. You can find it for yourself. You just have to practice. So I also love the fact that I don't have to run the rat race every day. I can live within my means and help people. And oh my gosh, it's a dream come true. But for years before this, decades, I spent time saving and not spending everything I made. I dreamed of having a life like this. And I know you have a dream too, right? So what is your dream? What makes you smile just connected to the idea of having that dream come true? Now, what are you willing to give up for that dream? What are you willing to do for it? The thing is, if you don't already have it, then there's got to be an exchange. There's going to be a sacrifice. You're going to have to trade. So I remember like 30 years ago, this is just a really simple analogy. I had a friend, and she and I used to go for walks really early in the morning because I had to get back and get my kids up for school. Well, over time, this coffee shop opened nearby, like a mile away. And so we started walking for like an hour, and then we created a habit of stopping by there and getting these delicious cups of coffee. So I loved that time that we had together, and then I loved to walk and then sit down and talk with her in this cozy new coffee shop. But one day I realized I was spending well over $100 a month. This was like 25, 30 years ago. So I just thought, wow, all the things I could do with this $100. I had kids at home. I was a single mom, and I didn't want the coffee bad enough, so I gave it up. So I started making a pot of coffee at home, kind of almost free, really. And we would finish our walk, and we'd go over there, and I'd make the coffee, and she'd come and sit on the porch, and we'd sit there every morning and drink coffee while the kids got ready for school. I really loved the coffee, the hazelnut coffee that I used to get. It was so delicious and much better than the coffee I made at my house, but that was the trade-off. Well, I still remember back then, my kids were still really young, and I always would say that I didn't have any money to save, and I can't create a budget because I don't have any money. But, I think that just that coffee thing, when I realized what I was spending, I think that was the kickstart I needed. So I actually started saving that $100 a month intentionally. I put it in a separate bank account, and I didn't touch it. I actually think I still have that bank account. I didn't touch it on purpose for a long time. So that and 100 other things like it has made it possible for me to not have to go to work every day these days. And for me to be able to spend my focus on the things that I want to do with my life is amazing. So retirement for me, no, I'm not really retired. I just don't go to work every day for someplace else for someone else. So I get to choose my work. I choose what I want to do, and I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I'm setting my life up for the way I want it. And yes, I could go to work and make more money right now, but instead, I actually get to do what I want to do. I want to do that because it's a wonderful, beautiful life, and I hope that you can have that for yourself too. So many people just go to work every day after day, unhappy and stuck in the grind. Like I said before, barely making ends meet. I see so many people like that. So remember, guys, you're going to spend your money anyways, so make a budget. You get to tell your money where to go. I remember I had a boss, I was like 20 years old, and he told me, Peggy, if you just save 10% of your money and put it in the bank and never spend it, you'll be rich by the time you're my age. And I don't know how old he was, 65 or 70. And he also told me that I would never miss the money, and he was right. I think my paychecks were like $250 every 2 weeks back then, so I wouldn't have noticed the $25, and for crying out loud, I wish I would have listened to him, but I never took him up on it. He even offered to save it for me, but you always think that you'll do it later, but as we all know, tomorrow never comes. But I'm asking you to let today be your day. Why not? What are you waiting for? Can you start saving a little bit of money? If you don't know where to start, then just reach out to me. I promise you I'll try to help you. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not even the smartest girl in the room, but I do know how to start with nothing and end up with something. My mom, she always used to say, Peggy's the only person I know that can rub 2 nickels together and make a quarter. Well, she said a quarter because she was from New York. So I might not give you the best advice either, but I certainly won't tell you anything that's going to hurt you. That's for sure. There's lots of people that can help you, though. I mean, maybe you have a friend that's really good with money. Maybe they could help you. And also, if you don't know about Dave Ramsey, he has Financial Peace University. Check him out because he's amazing. He has a live radio show, and I assume he has a podcast. I'm sure he's got a website. And he has these 7 baby steps to financial independence. Just like Bill Courtwright's 7 steps of stress mastery have changed my life. If you're having financial problems, I bet Dave Ramsey might be able to help you. So he's definitely worth a try. So remember, we're working on our goals for 2023 so we can get a jump start now. And finance is a big goal, and it is so important. So you got to figure out what you want. I hope and pray that getting out of debt will be on the top of your list. I've told you guys before, when I was married in my young 20s, all of our money went to bills, every single paycheck. We had so much debt it wasn't even funny. And I remember I couldn't even buy my kids a birthday present without charging it. I would have to go make the payment of $50 or whatever so that I could buy my kid a $50 present on my Meyer and Frank card. Crazy. Literally every penny was taken by bills. That is a terrible way to live. Cars that we couldn't afford, boats, sporting goods, vacations, all charged. We couldn't afford any of them. But thankfully, I learned from my mistakes, from that life. And once I was done with that marriage, I was done with debt. And honestly, I've never turned back. I can tell you guys, those days in my 20s were so full of stress for me that I couldn't bear to ever do that to myself again. And I haven't. Yay. Besides my homes, I never owe money for anything except a car or two. And even when I buy cars, like this is a really good tip. I'm a frugal shopper, so I start looking for cars. I don't have to just say, I'm getting a new car and go buy the most expensive, most beautiful car. I'm not into keeping up with the Joneses. So I check Consumer Reports and find a good car. I find cars that have a good warranty on them because that's really important to me. And then I go find my loan first. I find the cheapest money that I can find. So I know what my interest rate is and what my payment will be on how many thousands of dollars I'm going to spend. So when you're in there and the salesman starts asking, well, where do you want your payment to be? I can honestly say, don't worry about that, sir. Let's just talk about how much the car is because I can figure out my own math from there, right? It really puts you in a better position. And of course, then after I negotiate the deal of how much the car is, then I make sure that they can't give me a better interest rate than what I currently found. And usually they can't because, like I said, I've done my homework. So I know how much the car companies are going to loan the money for and everything before I ever walk into the dealership. And I'm not an impulse shopper like I was when I was young. I have a budget and a plan. And I also think that I'm really blessed because I'm easily content. So there's something you can pray for. Pray to be easily content. I don't need a lot to make me happy. I'm happy at heart. So I think that's why I don't suffer from a bunch of mimetic desire. I'm sorry, I always have such a hard time saying that word. I'm sure that it makes my life easier, and I am truly grateful for my simple life. Okay, so what am I saying? If you want to avoid the negative ramifications or consequences of not living on purpose, then start here and now. Guys, you can change your behavior. You really can. You just got to let go of your old programming. What does your best life look like? We all want security. That's never going to change. It's innate inside of us. So what do you need in the bank to feel secure? How much do you need in your retirement fund? It's time to set goals for your money. Figure out what your goals are for your finance and get to it right now. I encourage you to stop charging, pay off your bills so that you can start saving. Get started on an emergency fund. That's really important. Then you don't have to charge things when, something breaks down or you need, to fix your bathroom floor or something. Start saving for a house or for your kids' college or for your wedding or whatever it is, whatever season you're at in life. Just have a plan. Have a plan that works for you. And make sure that the plan connects to your purpose. Numero uno. It's so important. This is going to help you weather the storm when the storm comes, because it will come. The ramifications of wasting your money and not preparing for your future can be devastating. Remember, though, all 5 life categories are equally important so you can live a well-balanced life. And I know that we don't talk too much about finance here on the Stress Mastery podcast, but I just think it's really, really important. So I wanted to just talk about it on this one. So I hope that this episode will inspire you to create a plan and a budget If you are not in the Stress Mastery community, I encourage you to join us. The first 30 days are free, and you can spend time with like-minded people. And there are tons of resources in there for you and for all of us. So if you want to reach out to me, I am at PeggyRomero.com and Peggy with Purpose on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And that is it for today's show. Our mission here is to create a shift in the planet, and you can join us on that mission by simply like, share, and subscribe. The links are right below the show notes. As always, until next time, stay inspired.